Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is February 3rd. We are back here at my desert outpost. Also, you can see I've been keeping this meteor going. Just easiest source of infinity and cosmic neutronium for the moment. So want to keep that guy running. Now, as for over here, did a bunch of stuff today. The main goal today, which I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to achieve, was to get to the first UEV circuit. And to do that, we did a couple of things. So starting where I left off yesterday, we got these bacteria vats. Now, where I left off yesterday was I had set this one up and this guy, and this one was the raw biocatalyst 2-liter recipe. What I mean by 2-liter, just friendly reminder, raw bio. If you come over here, we've got a 8-to-2, a 5-to-5, and a 5-to-10. So the recipe you have to start with is this 8-to-2. It takes a whole lot of, you need tritanium, unknown crystal shards. All the recipes require this T-SETI. I believe all of them require stem cells as well. Oh no, the final one requires biocells. That's why you get doubles, because it's already gone through the process. But anyways, as I stated yesterday, I did leave this guy running overnight. As you see, it's not running now because I've turned it down or turned it off. But got this guy running overnight, got a decent backlog, and then set up this fluid heater right here, which you see is actually running, to get us to sterilized. I did throw a level emitter on it here, so I make sure I don't ever run out of the raw bio in backlog. And then today, what I started off with was this mega. I was like, that doesn't seem right. So this mega EBF, I made this last night, I should clarify, before I went to bed, though I didn't turn it on until today, I believe. I think that's right. But either way, I started the day off for sure with this mega EBF, at least my work day. This guy is actually not hooked up to the subnetwork at all, currently, besides the output. Specifically, this is here to make biocells, and I don't believe I'll ever add anything else to this. Maybe I'll throw regular stem cells on here, just if I gotta check out my channel situation. I think I'm nearly out of channels. But when you're making biocells, you also output mutagen. Let's see. Yeah, if we do a biocell recipe. Now this mutagen, I'm not using it currently, but one of the things I will need to come back and finish, and I think I'm gonna just do it tomorrow so I don't forget about it. Kind of like the hafnium line, for example, where once I have everything set up, I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely do that, and I'll come back to it. Just because we can use this for a 4-to-4 recipe for raw growth catalyst. Basically just recycle this stuff into something else. I don't think this is the best recipe. Or, you know what? It is actually by far the best recipe. So we'll definitely want to get this set up. Everything else in here, we've already got plenty of. So it'll really just be setting up another set of bacteria vats. No big deal. And then I don't know if I have this OVA evolutionist one, bacteria 4. If I don't, I'll get that. That shouldn't be a big deal, 15%. So, like I said, got this guy set up, which got us stem cells. I did put the stem cells, or biocells, excuse me, on a level emitter, just because I know I'm going to need a bunch. Plus, also, I was originally going to set up the 5-to-5 recipe for this raw bio, but then I was once I set this guy up, and like biocells craft really fast, so I was like, screw that, we'll just go right to the 10-liter. The sign's wrong, this is the 10-liter one. What we got going on in here, we said we got infinity catalyst dust, biocells, and T-SETI. The coke oven failing is interesting. I don't have those on auto maintenance hatch, so it probably just needs maintenance. But so yeah, you can see this guy. I need to adjust my regulator over here. It must be outputting just a little too fast, because this should be outputting 10 buckets versus 9.8 buckets. But it is basically working as intended, just with a little bit of the regulator just needs to be adjusted just a little bit. And then because I have that one running, I just shut this one off. If I ever need more bio, I would turn this on as like a backup, but we should be pretty solid. Because let's see, yeah, I have it set to every time it goes over 1 million, we start crafting the sterilized. When I left work a little while ago, I was at 500,000. I'm at 3.5 now, so we are gaining. So we're doing good here. Plus, I got all this mutagen to recycle as well. So, yeah, that was the bulk of what was done over here. Now, just to save flying back and forth, the last thing I did over here on the road to crafting UEV circuits was set up this chemical reactor. This guy needed to be the tier 8, the botanium. This is specifically for mutated living solder. This guy is needed for crafting both the UHV version of the BioWare circuit, as well as the mainframe. As you can see, we also need the sterilized biocatalyst, which is what everything else over here is doing. And yeah, super coolant, which we have plenty of because of the beam line. Like, I have so much super coolant and we'll never run out of that stuff. Now, this guy, this is the first multi-block that I've had to run at UEV. So I did have to overclock it with UHV. So that's why I don't have this thing running on passive right now, because that would just be a little bit too much power. And you'll see that kind of as a theme for the other stuff I've done today. Now, once I fix the power situation, which is fine currently, I haven't had any power issues, but if I start pushing, I'm going to, and I don't want to mess around with that. So yeah, this guy is all set up, and that's everything out in the desert. I did not change anything over here that I can think of. No, yeah, I didn't mess with anything. And the only other thing, like I said, is just keeping this guy rolling. So let's head back to the main base. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to mention is, we don't need to be back there to see it, but to get that 10, if we're looking at the sterilized raw biocatalyst medium recipe, and we go to this 10-liter one, this petri dish right here, just to warn you, if you're ever messing around with this and you want this, it's the Cellula Biologicum Evolutione, whatever, petri dish. This sucker takes a long time to get. So it looks deceptive because you see 7.5, and the one we needed previously was only 2.5. However, this is 180 seconds. And it's not very expensive. That at least is positive. But I don't know if I was just having bad luck, but this guy took, I want to say 6 hours for me to get 4 of them all together today. Like, just the game running while I was working. So if you do want to do that more, or the 10-liter recipe, just make sure you set this up sooner. Realistically, if I had more time to play, like instead of leaving the game going for a long time, it would have been faster, realistically, to craft more biolabs just to make more petri dishes, just because the stuff's not expensive and we have plenty of it already, just to get the petri dishes faster. But just something to be aware of. Let me grab this. Yeah. 6. So yeah, the only thing that was done over in this area was that biolab, but it's the same one I used yesterday. It just needed to, or was just changed out to be making that petri dish. So let's go. Should be, yeah. Run fine, run fine. Paranoid about this area shutting off in particular, because this is the where I make my phthalic acid still. Running fine. And let me check the wood real quick while we're over here. The tree machine has problems, but now running fine. Oh, and all my chainsaws are dead. I guess that makes sense since I ran the game overnight. There we go. Should be producing trees. Now, I'm trying to think if okay. So, before I get to the final area, kind of doing this a little out of order, but on the road again to making the UEV circuit, one of the things we needed to do was, I turned this off, use the research station. If you look at the bio mainframe, you have to research a UHV tier circuit, and usage. we need 16 million EU per tick. So I did have to upgrade this guy to UHV. So part of doing this, I did make myself a UHV 64 amp energy hatch. I'm not going to use it for very much at the moment because I definitely could not afford to consistently run 64 amps of UHV power. But this guy was able to run. It didn't take too long to research the UEV circuit, but it's just something again to be aware of. If you're going for the UEV circuit, your research station does need to be running at be able to run at 16 million EU per tick. I'm still just running the wetware mainframes in here though, so the computation was fine. Like these guys were more than enough to handle it. Like I didn't have to. I was actually a little worried once I realized I needed power. I was worried I was going to have to extend this more because I haven't messed with tearing this machine down in a while. But we do need to, actually, funnily enough, I haven't set it up, but whenever I get around to actually using this guy, it does need another one of those computation things set up over here. Or quantum computers. But the last area, now we've kind of gotten out of order. So the last thing I did to get to those circuits today was set up some more assembly lines. Now, when we look at these, we got 5 assembly lines going on. That's 2 circuits, 3 regular. This first one here is only here to make these bioprocessing units. If we were to go to the BioWare, you need bioprocessing units right here. You'll notice though, however, this is a UHV recipe. So I did not put in an advanced assembly line because you cannot overclock advanced assembly lines. Now I do have access to UHV energy hatches. Obviously I wouldn't be able to use the research that I just showed off if I didn't. However, if I put an advanced assembly line on here, this would be running at, be overclocking by 7 energy hatches just because, so I didn't want to mess around with that, at least not till I fix the power. So for the moment, the UEV circuits are going to be relatively slow, just so that I don't run into power issues or anything along those lines. So that's what this guy is. The next 2 are pretty just standard circuit assembly lines, and not really much to note here. They both are imprinted. If we look, we got BioWare processor, BioWare assembly. Now it's different compared to the wetware ones before, is the supercomputer part of the line is actually just an assembly line process. So again, same as the first P component, I did put in a regular assembly line for now. Now this guy takes UV power, so I could actually overclock this one without issue. I figure there's not really that big of a deal to overclock that right now though, while this guy's not overclocked. And then same thing for the last one, the mainframe over here, just another circuit assignment recipe set up as an assembly line. The main thing of note for the 3 regular assembly lines versus the circuit assembly lines is that I did, however, set them up. These are the circuit assembly lines. This is one of the 3 assembly lines. I did set them up as if they were advanced assembly lines. And this does work even if you request multiple. That's the only thing I wasn't sure about with using the stocking input bus, since it still checks and slices. But this does work just fine. So whenever I do decide I'm ready to overclock or go to the advanced assembly line, it will literally just be as simple as swapping out the controller from the assembly line to the advanced. And that is the case for all 3 down here. Now, without further ado, I do believe, let me check before I try to click on it. Yeah, I'll type in BioWare. I did, in fact, get this guy crafted. Everything else was pretty straightforward, just a bunch of spamming of patterns for things I didn't have. So we do have our first UEV circuit. So that's pretty exciting. Good milestone. With this and my first 8, I'm pretty sure what I'm going to aim for is setting up tomorrow is the Nequata refinery. This guy, as you can see, takes Field generators, no big deal. 4 UEV circuits. And then the rest of the multi-block is pretty expensive as well. Oh, we need... all this stuff's fine. That one's fine. That IV, yeah, that's fine. So we need a bunch of 32 UHV circuits and a bunch of field generators. So all these are pretty expensive, but everything else in here besides those initial 4 circuits, are pretty doable. Like we've got a Awakened Draconium and nothing else in here. Excuse me, sorry about that. Are particularly hard to get or shouldn't cause a big deal. So I want to set this guy up tomorrow. And then with this, get to Mark III. I don't think this should be an issue because we have extremely unstable. We've got plenty of Tiberium. The rest of the stuff is just, I want to set up a dedicated compressor for each one of these, just so I'm not waiting on them when I'm waiting on fuel, and then throw these guys over into the fuel reactors over there. Like I said, when I have those 2 reactors running on Mark III fuel, I'll do one at a time, just to make sure I'm keeping up. I do want to take the Mark II fuel that I make, because we do want that still being used by something, and move that over to the water line so I can run that at a higher tier. Also, kind of just a random note, but my water line, I don't know what happened to my circuits last night, or my logic circuit last night, but I have 30 million grade 1 water. I have all these set to shut off and go up to the next tier at 1 million buckets, so not really sure what happened. I have to look into this and figure out why that's wrong. The other thing that I can do too, because I haven't upgraded my high density steam, supercritical steam, all the 3 major high density steams, to run on better rotors. Now that I have UHV dynamo hatches and energy hatches and stuff, I can also look into upgrading those to get more power as well. So like I said, the power is holding just fine for being able to craft stuff. I don't want to go too crazy on UEV stuff yet till I make sure that's solid, because as soon as you start getting random power failures, everything gets really frustrating and it just kind of becomes an annoyance. But as soon as we get that figured out, I don't know, I will look into what to start working on next. I'm not really sure what the next goal should be, in all honesty. Oh, you know what? I do know. So it'll be fixed power tomorrow, and then we're going to get this integrated ore factory as the next step. And then from there, I have no idea, but we'll figure it out. And I'm looking forward to it. So anyways, I hope you had a good day and a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.